with couples, sometimes is it better if the man or woman goes first into the dives first into the healing pool? And I have an opinion. I want to know if you have one.
Wow. I think I think it should be the one who you don't, typically they're not going to be on equal footing. So it's not really a fair question because you'll have one that will be more ahead than the other. So I think there really isn't a choice. Doesn't have to be a choice. But what's like if you were like writing somebody's script, who's better? The one that's going to serve the family unit better, right? So if one will, let's say, go into healing, and then his healing will make him, do better in other things than family, then it should be the parent that their healing will lead to the family, being a healthier unit.
So let me share my theory, and you tell me if you agree with it. So I think the man should go first. It's much safer if the man goes first, because usually people meet on an equal playing field, right? If a couple decides to marry, on some level, we want to think we're healthier than the other one. Whoever is talking, no, I'm much healthier, they're much sicker. In some ways, there's an equality. They're the same level of healthy, the same level of sick. I heard someone say that couples meet at the level of their fear of intimacy. Right? There's an equal fear of intimacy on both ends, and some have a lighter fear, so they can meet at that level. Some have a very large fear, and that's where they're comfortable, right? They're comfortable being at a distance of X, and they both maintain that distance, so it feels good. As one starts to heal, oftentimes they try to bring that distance closer, and it makes the other one uncomfortable in different ways if they haven't started their own process. So to me, the man is responsible to provide for and protect the woman. It doesn't go in the reverse. Very few women are lying up at night and saying, I think I have to buy a life insurance policy in case something happens to me, I have to take care of my husband. And this is the case even if the women are the wealthy ones in the relationship. But it's not always the way their brains think. But men, it's natural. We get appreciation, we get enjoyment from it. A woman supporting a man, I was speaking to a couple recently who's struggling. The woman does quite well financially and supporting the man, and she's very unhappy about it. And I was thinking that in the reverse, they'd be quite happy. But he's not happy with being supported, and she's not happy with doing the supporting. And all you had to do was change the genders, and everything was okay, and everything would be okay from that perspective. So I was thinking about it from healing. So as soon as one starts doing healing, then they start noticing, oh man, I'm a little bit sick, right? The first step in healing. Who is it who I interviewed recently who said Mashiach is the same gematria as ani lo beseder?
Wow.
I am not okay. Once we realize I am not okay, then the beginning of your redemption, right? If you think zel lo beseder, hu lo beseder, he lo beseder, right? If you think other people are not okay, then you're still in your sickness. Once you say ani lo beseder, now Mashiach is starting to come. So that recognition turns into a recognition that the other person you're married to is lo beseder. Also, not in a way of blame, but realizing, hey, they probably have childhood trauma or childhood issues that they have to work out. Now, if the man sees that first for the woman, the provider and protector comes out and says, okay, I have to help help her grow. If the woman starts doing it, then yes, there's a part of her that can come out to support, but that part is called mother. It's not called wife. So now it turns into a mothering, nurturing kind of relationship. And I've seen a few times, I haven't done any studies or anything completely anecdotal. It's just a theory I'm putting out there. I think it's safer for men to start the healing journey first. Sometimes a woman can start the healing journey and then decide they've out-healed their men.
Yeah, I mean, your point is that when women are ahead of their husbands in healing, then the husbands feels like they don't want to follow. There's a resistance to following or a shame of being behind. And
or on the wife's side, I'm talking about.
And the wife too. Yeah, meaning that look at him, he's doing nothing and I'm doing all the work. There's truth to that, absolutely. But sometimes, if there's a mother listening to this, right, they shouldn't not do the work because, right, they still need
Oh,
to do
that's
the
true.
work.
No,
They still
100%.
need to do the work, even if they know that their husband's not going to follow. They still need to apply themselves to help get themselves, do the work this way that they're more present for the family.
Yes.
And I've seen that in some cases with some clients that the women are the ones that are leading their families, and it's unfortunate for the men because every
By
time,
and large, that happens.
yeah, it's true. And this dynamic of men not knowing how to lead. I mean, I certainly didn't, was extremely ignorant going into marriage and thinking about the level of ignorance anyone goes into marriage. You need to have a blueprint. The man needs more of a blueprint because the women will follow. Once a man leads, the women will follow. But when women lead, men won't necessarily follow. And if they do, it's a problem. Meaning, it's not a problem if they follow, but the
So we're gonna
dynamic
go
is
there,
already
masculine,
the
feminine.
dynamic is already
Thrown off.
thrown off.
Okay,
Because
and
women
that's
don't want to be the leaders in the relationship typically.
and men don't want to be.
And men don't want to be the followers, and they shouldn't be. They need to be the ones leading. So yes, if there's equal footing, then if there's a choice, okay, we have a certain amount of money, and like who's gonna go first, then it should be the husband, because then the women will follow. But a good man will tell his wife, listen, you go first.
Okay, so I guess we can conclude like this. All things being equal, if a man is listening, you start first. If a woman is listening, you start first.
Right, and that's really it. I mean, there's always going to be a challenge in the relationship, but the person themselves are in charge of, each person is in charge of themselves. And
Right. And to contradict myself, there was someone named my wife who told me that in relationships, that she believes that in relationships, there's always someone who's maybe one rung up, who's then helping the other, and then that person is maybe a little further along, who then helps the next, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth.
right,
Right.
I think that's true, but it doesn't take away from what you're saying, because overall, you don't want, in a healthy relationship, the women could be, women add, I'm not going to speak about what they add to, the life of a man, but it's not that they're always following. But if a man is not leading his own life, then that's where the problem is. It's okay for women to lead, but if a man is not leading his own life, then that's where the struggle begins in that dynamic.